I arrived at the cafe where I knew they would meet, heart steady, mind cold. Elena was already there, twirling her coffee cup nervously. Daniel sat across from her, pretending to check emails on his phone. I walked in slowly. "Hello," I said. My voice was calm, controlled. They both looked up. Their eyes widened, shock, fear, guilt all mixed into one unreadable expression. "Elijah," Elena whispered, rising but faltering. "Sit down," I said softly. "We need to talk." She stumbled back into her chair, and Daniel froze, not daring to meet my gaze. "You know why I'm here," I said. "You know what I've seen, what I've heard. Everything." Elena's hands shook. "Elijah, please, Don't speak," I interrupted gently. "I want to hear the truth from you, all of it. Every lie. Every word you hid from me." Daniel shifted uncomfortably. I didn't mean." "You didn't mean?" I asked, voice calm but sharp. "You killed what we had. Not me." Elena gasped. "Elijah, I'm sorry. I didn't want to." I leaned forward, placing the divorce papers on the table. "Read this. Every page explains what your choices cost. Every word is mine. No shouting. No dramatics. Just the truth." She looked at the papers, eyes wide, tears already streaming down her cheeks. "Elijah, please. I love you, we can fix this." I shook my head. "You don't get to fix it. You only get to face it." Daniel finally looked up, and I saw the guilt etched into his face. He couldn't even meet my eyes. His mouth opened, closed, opened again. Words failed him. "Elena," I said, voice steady, "you lied. You betrayed. You chose him over us. You were supposed to protect what we had, and instead you destroyed it." She fell to her knees, hands covering her face. I'm so sorry," she whispered, broken. "I know," I said. "I've known for weeks. I watched it all. The lies, the laughter, the hidden meetings. Everything." Daniel shrank in his chair, silent, defeated. "You both believed I was weak. That I'd never confront you. That I'd stay and forgive. I let you believe that because I wanted the truth. And now you have it." Elena sobbed openly, shaking, begging silently for forgiveness she would not receive. Daniel's shoulders slumped, defeated. "You killed our marriage," I said slowly, letting the words land. "Not me." I stood, feeling the air around me shift. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just felt the weight in my chest lighten slightly, replaced by a strange strength. I glanced at the papers again, then turned toward the door. "Elijah, please." Elena called after me, voice cracking. I didn't look back. I stepped outside, feeling the cool air on my face. My heart beat slowly now, painfully, but stronger than it had in months. I walked away, leaving them in the cafe, their faces pale, broken, and finally facing the truth they had tried to hide. "Hey, Elena, are you home for dinner tonight?" I asked while tying my shoes, trying to sound casual. She didn't even look up from her phone. "I might be late again. There's a lot going on at work." "You've been late all week," I said, forcing a small laugh. "Are you sure everything's okay?" "It's just work, okay?" She sighed and grabbed her bag. "Please don't start." "I'm not starting," I whispered, though it sounded weak even to me. "Well, it feels like you are," she said, pulling the door open. "I'll text you." And then she was gone, leaving silence behind her, again. I sat on the couch and rubbed my face. "What's happening to us?" I muttered. "Why does it feel like I'm talking to a stranger?" My phone buzzed. Daniel's name popped up. "Bro, you alive?" he joked when I answered. "Barely," I said. "Elena's late again." She stressed. "You know how she is." "I know," I said, though doubt twisted my stomach. "But something feels off." "Talk to her," he said. "Use that serious husband voice." I tried. "She shuts down." Daniel chuckled. "Then try again. You always figure things out." "I hope so," I whispered. "I really hope so." When the call ended, the house felt colder. I stared at the empty dining table, the one I used to set for two every night. I kept thinking about all the years I worked overtime, saved every extra dollar, tried to make a home she'd feel safe in. I thought it mattered. I thought we mattered. Maybe I'm overthinking, I told myself. She's tired. People get tired. I tried to believe it. I tried to believe her. Later that night, she came home quietly. I stepped out of the kitchen. You didn't eat? She asked. I was waiting, I said. You shouldn't wait. I told you not to. I like waiting for you, I replied, trying to smile. She hesitated, then said, well, I'm going to shower. Elena, I said, stopping her. Can we talk? Just for a minute. Her shoulders stiffened. Not tonight. I'm exhausted. It'll be quick. I said not tonight, she snapped. Why can't you trust me when I say I'm tired? The room fell silent. I swallowed hard. I do trust you. That's why I'm asking. Well, stop, she said, softer but colder. Please. She walked away again, and something inside me cracked. I leaned against the wall, breathing slowly, trying not to think the worst. After she went upstairs, I stepped outside for air. As I stood near the driveway, I heard voices coming from the side of the house, low, urgent whispers. I froze. Elena, you can't keep doing this, a man's voice said. A voice I recognized. My heartbeat stumbled. I know, she whispered. But he doesn't suspect anything. Not yet. My chest tightened so hard I could barely breathe. Daniel's voice answered, just be careful. My hands shook. My mind went blank. And in that moment, everything I believed about my marriage shattered. When Elena grabbed her keys, I asked, another late shift? Yeah, she said quickly. Don't wait up tonight. I'll stay awake anyway, I replied. She froze for a second. Please don't. I won't be home until really late. Something twisted inside me. Elena, are you sure you're okay? I said I'm fine. She forced a smile. Stop worrying. The door shut behind her, and the uneasy silence pushed me forward. I grabbed my jacket, whispering, if I'm wrong, I'll apologize forever. If I'm right. My words faded as I drove toward her office, my hands shaking on the wheel. When I reached the building, her car wasn't in its usual spot. Instead, it was tucked near the back, half hidden behind a row of delivery vans. What are you doing out here? I murmured, staring at it. I parked far away and stepped out slowly. My heartbeat felt like it was echoing in the empty lot. Just breathe, I told myself. Maybe she just didn't find a space. But my gut kept twisting. I followed the faint light coming from a side hallway entrance. The closer I got, the more I heard something, soft footsteps, a hushed giggle. My pulse jumped. No, please no. I moved toward the half-open door. Through the crack, I heard her voice. Elena? I whispered under my breath. Her laugh answered me before she did. Then another voice spoke, deep, familiar, cruelly recognizable. Daniel. My knees weakened. I pressed my hand against the wall to steady myself. Elena, he's going to find out, Daniel whispered inside. He won't, she said. He trusts me too much. He chuckled softly. Trust is your superpower. She giggled again. A sound I used to love. Now it stabbed straight through me. I felt my chest tighten until breathing hurt. Tell me this isn't real, I whispered. Inside, he said, I missed you today. I missed you too, she replied. I covered my mouth with my hand when a choked sound escaped me. Daniel whispered, you should have told him the truth months ago. And hurt him like that. She sighed. I can't. Not yet. My vision blurred. Not yet. I repeated silently. Not yet. They kept talking, words blurring into muffled whispers. I didn't need to hear more. I already heard enough to break me in ways I never imagined. I stepped back slowly, afraid the sound of my own breathing would expose me. My legs felt numb, like they weren't even mine. Move, I told myself, but I could barely lift my feet. When I finally reached the exit, the cold air hit me so hard I gasped. I gripped the railing outside, forcing myself not to collapse. No confrontation, I whispered. Not now. Not like this. My whole body trembled. I felt hollow, like someone had carved out everything inside me. I walked to my car in a daze. The world looked blurry, wrong, unfamiliar. When I sat behind the wheel, I whispered the only words I could manage. I don't even know who I am anymore. When I walked into the house, everything felt too quiet, too clean, too normal for what I just heard. I dropped my keys on the table and whispered, just breathe. Don't fall apart yet. An hour later, the front door opened and Elena's cheerful voice filled the hallway. I'm home. You're still awake? Yeah, I said, turning toward her slowly. Couldn't sleep. She smiled like nothing was wrong. You should have gone to bed. Today was crazy. Crazy how? I asked, watching her carefully. She shrugged. Work stress. Meetings. You know how it is. Work stress, I repeated, tasting the lie in my mouth. She slipped her shoes off. I promise things will settle down soon. Will they? I asked. She paused. Why are you asking like that? I'm just checking on you, I replied. You seem different. I'm fine, she insisted. Please stop worrying so much. I nodded slowly, pretending I believed her. Okay. If you say so. She walked past me, humming a soft tune, and each note felt like a knife twisting deeper inside me. I stared at her back, fighting the urge to shout the truth in her face. But instead, I whispered, not yet. My phone buzzed. I stepped outside before answering. Mia's worried voice hit me immediately. You sound terrible. What happened? Nothing, I said quickly. Don't lie to me, she snapped. Your voice cracks when you pretend you're okay. So talk. I rubbed my forehead. I can't. Not now. Is it Elena? She asked quietly. My breath hitched. Mia. What did she do? She pushed. I don't have proof, I said. Not the kind I can throw at her. Not yet. God, I knew something was wrong, she muttered. You've been distant for weeks. I'm trying to figure things out, I whispered. If I confront her too soon, she'll twist it. She always does. So what are you going to do? She asked. I don't know, I admitted. My head is a mess. My chest feels tight. I want to scream, but I also need to think. Mia softened. Then don't rush. But don't ignore your instincts either. Something's off. I know, I said. I just need time. I'm here if you need me, she promised. Thanks. Really. After the call ended, I stood under the dim porch light, letting the cold air sting my skin. My mind replayed every whisper I heard earlier. Every laugh. Every lie Elena had told me. Inside the house, she called, Are you coming to bed? I'll be there soon, I answered, forcing my voice steady. As I walked back in, she smiled at me like nothing was breaking, like nothing was burning inside my chest. Long day? She asked. You have no idea, I whispered. She didn't hear the real meaning. She didn't see the cracks in me. She didn't notice how my silence had become heavier than my questions. But inside, something had shifted. The pain that once made me want to cry was turning into something colder. Harder. A beginning. And she had no idea. The next morning, I forced a calm smile when Elena walked into the kitchen. Morning, I said, pouring her coffee. She blinked in surprise. You're cheerful today. Trying to be, I replied. You said things were stressful. I don't want to add to it. She softened. Thank you. I needed that. Inside, something twisted, but I kept my face steady. When she went upstairs to shower, I whispered, now. I unlocked her phone with the code she thought I didn't know. Notifications were cleared, too clean, too perfect. Clever, I muttered. But not clever enough. Footsteps approached, so I placed the phone back exactly where she left it. You're quiet, she said as she came down. Just thinking, I replied. About work. Something like that. She didn't notice how tightly I held the counter behind me. After she left, I walked into the bedroom and slid the recording device beneath her nightstand. If you chose lies, I whispered, then I'll choose truth. That evening, I followed her again. She parked at a small cafe miles from her office. I cracked the car door open and listened. Daniel's voice carried softly through the night air. You sure he isn't suspicious? No, she said. He trusts me too much. Each word felt like a punch, but instead of breaking me this time, something sharpened inside me. The next day at work, I sat beside Liam, the only guy in the office who could hack a toaster if he wanted to. He glanced at me. You look like hell, man. Can you help me with something? I asked quietly. That depends. Are we talking legal or morally flexible? Let's call it recovering deleted messages, I said. He raised a brow. From your phone? No, I answered. His eyes widened. Dude, you sure? I need the truth. He leaned back. All right. If you want the truth, I can get it. But it might hurt. It already hurts, I said. We worked in silence as he plugged in the copied data I pulled from Elena's cloud backup. When the first recovered messages appeared, he muttered, damn. I took a breath. Read them. You really want to? Yes. He hesitated, then read aloud. Daniel, same time tonight. Elena, of course. He won't know. My jaw tightened. Liam looked at me carefully. I'm sorry, man. I'm past sorry, I whispered. I just needed proof. He closed the laptop. What are you going to do? I stared at the wall for a long second. I don't know yet. But whatever it is, it'll be on my terms. When I got home, Elena greeted me with a smile. You're early. Wanted to relax, I said. Maybe watch something together later. She nodded happily. I'd like that. I watched her walk into the kitchen, acting like she still lived in the same story as me. Inside my chest, something cold settled into place, steady, quiet, unshakable. If she chose to break me, I whispered as I sat down, then I'll choose how I stand again. And for the first time, I felt it. My next step was patience. I woke up early the next morning and made Elena breakfast, placing the plate gently in front of her. You've been tired lately, I said softly. I just want to take care of you. She blinked at me, almost suspicious. You're being sweet today. I'm always sweet, I replied with a small laugh. Inside, the laugh was nothing but a blade, sharp and cold. When Daniel called later, I answered before she could reach the phone. Hey, man, I said, sounding exhausted. I'm actually worried about Elena. She's been stressed, distant. I don't know what's going on with her. There was a pause on the line, the kind where guilt tries to hide but fails. Right? Yeah, work can do that, Daniel muttered. Exactly, I said, pretending to believe him. Thanks for checking in, though. You're a good friend. The bitterness behind my smile tasted like ash, but I kept my voice warm. When I handed Elena her phone, she asked, What did he say? Just checking on you, I replied. People care about you. She forced a smile. I watched her closely, thinking, every lie you tell makes my path clearer. That afternoon, her best friend Ava dropped by. She was always quick to notice things others missed. You two seem off, she said quietly while Elena went to the kitchen. I kept my expression steady. We're fine. Just tired. Ava narrowed her eyes. You don't lie well, you know that. If something was wrong, I whispered, keeping my tone low and convincing, I'd handle it. Her gaze lingered on me like she was searching for cracks, but I didn't give her any. She finally nodded, though uncertainty still clouded her face. When Elena returned, cheerful and overly chatty, Ava's expression shifted. She looked between us and murmured, Call me if you need anything. Elena frowned. Why would he need to call you? It's nothing, I said, touching her arm gently. She's just being thoughtful. Later that evening, Elena sat beside me on the couch, leaning her head on my shoulder. You've been so calm lately, she said. I thought. I don't know, you seemed upset before. I'm okay, I murmured. Sometimes things hurt, but I don't want to make life harder for you. Her body stiffened slightly, barely noticeable, but I noticed everything now. Inside my mind, quiet rage simmered, not wild like before, but controlled, focused. They think I'm clueless. They think I'm fragile. Let them think it. Let them grow comfortable. When she went to sleep, I sat alone in the dark, my breath steady. Daniel's fake concern. Elena's shaky smiles. Ava's suspicion. Each piece was falling exactly where I needed it. I won't rush this, I whispered to myself. I won't confront them early and give them time to escape. I pulled out my notebook, flipping to the page where everything began. Beneath it, I wrote one final word, slow and deliberate. Trap. And as I closed the notebook, I felt it, calm, cold, certain. They were digging their own grave, and I was the one handing them the shovel. I first noticed the crack in Daniel when he came to drop off some files for Elena. His eyes avoided mine like they were burned. You good? I asked casually, leaning on the doorframe. Yeah, just tired, he said too quickly. Tired from work? I asked, tilting my head. He swallowed hard. You know how it is. I nodded, pretending not to see the panic flicker across his face. When he left, I watched him practically jog to his car. Guilt, I thought. It finally found him. Elena's cracks came next. Did you move my phone charger? She asked, voice shaky. No, I replied calmly. Why? I can't find anything lately. You okay? I'm fine, she snapped, then immediately softened. Sorry. I'm just stressed. Of course, I murmured. Stress does that. She looked at me like she was trying to read my mind, but my face stayed calm, peaceful even. Inside, I was watching every twitch, every misplaced breath. Ava visited again 2 days later. She kept glancing between Elena and me with narrowed eyes. When Elena left the room, Ava touched my arm. Come outside for a second, she whispered. We stepped out onto the porch. She crossed her arms tightly. Something is very off with them, she said. Her voice was low, urgent. I didn't bother pretending this time. I know. Ava froze. What do you mean you know? I just know, I replied. My tone wasn't angry, just certain. She stared at me, searching my face. You're not saying more. No. And you're not asking for help. No. She exhaled slowly. All right. But I'm here if you need me. I appreciate it, I said, and surprisingly, I meant it. Later that evening, I sat at a cafe with my cousin Raphael. He always had a way of seeing through people. When I told him things were moving on their own, he chuckled. Let them, he said. Guilt is a heavy thing. People drop it eventually. I'm watching them crumble, I admitted. Piece by piece. Raphael leaned back, tapping his fingers on the table. Revenge tastes better when they confess on their own, he said. Makes the truth sharper. I smirked. You think they will? Oh, definitely. Secrets rot from the inside. They'll break. His words settled in my mind like a calm warning. I felt it then, the shift. Before, I was the one drowning. Now I was the one holding the threads. When I returned home, Elena was unusually quiet. She barely spoke during dinner, her hands trembling every time she lifted her fork. You okay? I asked gently. Just tired, she whispered. But her eyes were swollen, red. Hours later, when the house was silent, I heard soft, broken sobs coming from the bathroom. She must have thought I was asleep. I stayed still in the darkness, listening. Not with joy. Not with sympathy. But with a strange, steady calm. The cracks were finally spreading. The moment the message appeared on our shared home screen, time stopped. I had just walked into the living room when I heard the soft notification. I glanced at the tablet on the table, an ordinary habit. But the words staring back at me weren't ordinary at all. Daniel, same time tomorrow? I can't stop thinking about last night. For a moment, my body went still, cold, quiet, numb. It felt like every sound in the world vanished, leaving only the echo of my heartbeat thudding painfully in my chest. I didn't touch the screen. I didn't breathe. I just stared. Behind me, I heard footsteps. Elijah? Elena called softly. Did you see my? She froze the moment she saw the screen. Her face drained of color instantly. Oh God, she whispered. Oh God, no. I didn't move. Elijah, listen, she stammered, rushing toward me. Please, please, this isn't what it looks like. I still didn't speak. Elijah, say something, she begged, voice shaking. Please, talk to me. I slowly lifted my eyes to her. The way she flinched, it almost made me feel something. Almost. Her hands trembled as she reached for mine. Just let me explain. My fingers stayed still on my lap. Elijah, she repeated, almost choking on her own breath. It's not, he sent it without thinking. I had no idea. I swear I didn't respond. You can check. I didn't say anything. I said nothing. Her voice cracked. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if this upset you. I didn't mean to hurt you. I've been stressed, and Daniel's been helping with work. And he's confused, that's all. He doesn't mean anything by it. The lies were so soft, so shaky, I wondered if she even believed them herself. Inside me, two storms crashed, rage and heartbreak. Both screamed to be heard. Both burned through my chest with the same brutal fire. I wanted to shout, tell the truth. I wanted to shake her and demand why she threw away everything we built. But I also wanted to end this, not with screams, but with clarity. Elijah, please, she whispered, tears starting to fall. Say something. Anything. Still, I remained silent. She dropped to her knees in front of me. Look at me, she cried. Please. I'm begging you. I looked. Not with love. Not with forgiveness. Just, looking. Her breath hitched. She covered her face, sobbing. I'm sorry for upsetting you. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening anymore. I don't know why everything feels wrong, but I swear I'm trying. Trying? I thought. Trying to hide. Trying to lie. Trying to keep the truth buried long enough to save yourself. My jaw tightened, my hands clenched. All the rehearsed calm I had built for weeks trembled under the weight of this moment. I wanted to end the act right there, tear down the mask, and watch her world collapse. But not yet. Not before everything is exactly where I need it. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I stood up. "Elijah," she whispered, eyes wide, terrified. I met her gaze, steady and composed. "Let's talk tomorrow," I said quietly. She blinked, confused, scared. "Tomorrow?" "Yes," I said. "Tomorrow." She didn't know that tomorrow was Judgment Day. I barely slept. When morning came, the house felt colder than ever. Elena walked into the living room with red, swollen eyes. The moment she saw me sitting there, she broke. "Elijah, please," she whispered, voice trembling. "Can we talk now?" I nodded once. She sank onto the couch, hands shaking. I can't keep lying," she said. "I'm so tired. I'm so scared." Her breathing turned uneven, and then the words rushed out. "It started because I felt alone," she cried. "You were busy with work, and I was stressed, and he was there. He listened. He made me feel seen. I didn't mean for anything to happen. I swear I didn't. Her voice cracked open like glass. It just happened." I said nothing. She wiped her face with trembling fingers. "I didn't plan it. I didn't go looking for it. I was weak. I was confused. I kept telling myself it was harmless at first. Just talking. Just support. And then one night he hugged me and I didn't push him away." She sobbed. "I don't even know who I am anymore." Every word stabbed deeper, but I stayed still. "Elijah, I was lonely," she continued, her voice breaking. "I felt like you didn't see me. Like you didn't need me the way you used to. I made a mistake. A horrible mistake. I hate myself for it." She didn't say I chose this. She didn't say I betrayed you. She blamed the world, the wind, the universe, everything except the person sitting 2 feet away from me. I stared at the floor, trying to feel something. Anger. Sadness. Fury. But inside, there was just emptiness. "Elijah, please say something," she begged. "Please. I'm begging you. I'll do anything to make this right." I opened my mouth, but before I could speak, her phone buzzed on the table. Daniel. His name flashing on the screen felt like salt on an open wound. She froze, terrified. "Don't answer it," she whispered. "Please." I picked up the phone anyway. I didn't look at her. I just pressed the green button and put it to my ear. "Elena?" Daniel said softly. "Are you okay? I've been worried since last night." I waited. "Elena? Are you there?" Then I spoke, calm and cold. "I know everything." There was a moment of pure, perfect silence. Then a sharp inhale from him, fear, guilt, realization, all in one breath. "Elijah." Listen, man, this isn't, just let me explain." I hung up. The quiet that followed was the best sound I had ever heard. Elena covered her mouth, sobbing. "Why did you answer? Why would you do that?" I stood up slowly. Because the truth needed to be heard. She tried grabbing my wrist. "Please don't leave. Please, Elijah. We can fix this. We can try again. I'm begging you, don't go." My voice felt hollow. "I need air." "Elijah," she screamed, panic rising. Please don't walk out on me." But I did. I walked out the front door, her voice breaking behind me, echoing down the hallway as she screamed my name. I drove straight to Mia's apartment. The moment she opened the door and saw my face, she didn't ask anything, she just pulled me inside. "Elijah," she whispered, "tell me." I sat on her couch, breathing slowly. "You were right," I said. "All along." Her eyes filled with anger. What did she do? Before I could answer, Raphael walked in from the kitchen, holding a mug. "You look like you haven't slept in days," he said. "Sit. Start talking." I pulled out my phone, scrolling through the recordings, the screenshots, the messages. "It's all here," I said quietly. "Everything." Mia leaned forward. "What are you going to do?" "I don't want to hurt anyone," I said. "Not physically. Not with chaos. But I want truth. I want them to face what they did without being able to run from it." Raphael nodded slowly. "Good. No rage. No destruction. Just reality. Mia clenched her fists. She doesn't deserve your calm. She doesn't, I agreed. But this isn't for her. It's for me. I pulled out a folder filled with printed evidence, photos of their meetings, time-stamped recordings, messages Liam helped me recover. It felt heavy in my hands. This is everything, I said. Mia looked at it with disgust. She was your wife. She was supposed to protect you. She broke the promise, I said softly. Now she lives with the consequences. Raphael sat beside me. So what's the plan? I don't know yet, I admitted. But I want something clean. Something that hits them where it hurts most. Their pride. Their lies. Their perfect image. Mia looked thoughtful. You need a lawyer. I know, I said. I already called Serena. Right on cue, my phone buzzed. Serena's name flashed. I answered. Elijah, she said, her voice firm, I looked over everything you sent me. And let me be honest, you have enough evidence for a clean, uncontested divorce. You'll walk away protected. I exhaled. What about exposing them? That's your choice, Serena replied. But I can prepare a package. For their families. Their workplace. Anyone you want informed. Nothing illegal. Just the truth. Mia muttered, perfect. Raphael smirked. Truth hurts more than any punch. I nodded. Exactly. Serena continued, I'll draft the papers today. You deliver them whenever you're ready. But Elijah, once you choose this path, there's no going back. I already crossed the line, I said. There's nothing left to save. When the call ended, Mia touched my shoulder. Are you sure you want revenge? I looked at the evidence again. Their voices. Their words. Their choices. Yes, I said. But not angry revenge. Just truth. Raphael leaned back. So what happens now? I prepare everything, I said. Divorce papers. The evidence package. A message they can't ignore. Mia whispered, quiet revenge. Clean revenge, Raphael added. I looked at the folder one more time, the proof of the life they destroyed. No, I said. It's not revenge. They watched me closely. It's justice. From a distance, I watched the fallout unfold. Daniel's messages to co-workers had leaked, and within days, his job was gone. I didn't celebrate, didn't smirk. I just felt the strange calm of inevitability. He never thought it would get back to anyone, did he? Mia whispered beside me as we sipped coffee in my kitchen. No, I said quietly. But the truth has its own weight. Elena's parents called her repeatedly, their voices sharp with disappointment and anger. I saw her flinch each time the phone rang. She tried to explain, tried to apologize, but no one listened. Not Ava, not her family. She was alone, facing the consequences of her own choices. I can't believe how fast it all fell apart, Mia said, shaking her head. I can, I replied. People who lie, cheat, and betray always pay the price. I didn't destroy them. They did it themselves. Even seeing her cry from my window while she argued with her parents left me calm, almost relieved. I wasn't happy, exactly. But the weight of anger in my chest had started to lift. Liam stopped by one afternoon with a grin. Guess who just set up a freelance project for you? He said. High pay, short term, and totally remote. Thanks, I said. I needed that. You look better, man, he added. You're finally back. Mia nudged me gently. You've been taking care of yourself. Eating, sleeping. I smiled faintly. Mostly. Nights are easier with you around. She laughed softly. Good. Someone needs to make sure you don't starve or overwork yourself. Work was getting manageable again. Liam's help made it possible to take on projects I would have avoided before, and slowly, I felt the shift inside me. I wasn't just surviving anymore, I was rebuilding. One afternoon, while watering the small plants outside, a new neighbor appeared over the fence. She smiled warmly, holding a basket of fresh bread. Hi, I'm Lila, she said. I just moved in next door. Thought you might like some fresh bread. Thanks, I said, taking it. I'm Elijah. Her presence was small but comforting, like a gentle light flickering in the background. I nodded to her, feeling a strange ease I hadn't felt in months. Welcome to the neighborhood, she said, and walked away before I could reply further. I went inside, placed the bread on the counter, and sat by the window. The sun fell across my living room, warm and steady. Outside, life carried on. Daniel was panicking, Elena was crumbling, and I was slowly finding the space to breathe. It hit me then, quietly, without fanfare, I could finally breathe again. No anger. No confusion. Just the simple, steady rhythm of life returning to me. I leaned back in my chair, closing my eyes. For the first time in what felt like years, the weight in my chest wasn't crushing me. It was light. Free. And for the first time, I realized, maybe healing was finally possible. I started small. Morning runs, short walks, stretching my limbs until they felt alive again. Liam sent me a few freelance opportunities, and I began taking on more projects. Work became a rhythm I could sink into, a way to focus without thinking about the past. "Elijah, you look better," Mia said one evening as she dropped by with dinner. "Not just in shape, but calmer." "Calmer?" I asked, surprised. "Yes. You don't look like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders anymore." I shrugged, smiling faintly. "I guess I'm learning to let go." Elena tried to contact me more times than I could count. Texts, calls, even emails. I ignored all of them. Every ping made my chest tighten, but I refused to open that door. Daniel left the city entirely. Word was, he'd found another job far away, leaving the mess behind. I didn't feel satisfaction, exactly. Just relief. One afternoon, Lila knocked on my door, holding a basket of fresh fruit this time. "Thought you could use a little company," she said, smiling. "Thanks," I said. "I appreciate it." We sat on the small balcony, watching the sun dip behind the trees. She didn't pry. She didn't judge. She just listened, and in her presence, I felt a quiet sense of normalcy I hadn't known in months. "You seem peaceful," she said, finally breaking the silence. "I think I am," I admitted. "It's strange. I never thought I'd feel this again." "Maybe peace isn't about forgetting what happened," she said gently. "Maybe it's about letting it stop controlling you." I nodded, thinking about every lie, every betrayal, every night I had spent awake, heart hammering in my chest. All of it felt like it had shaped me into someone stronger, even if it hurt to get here. I didn't fall in love again, not yet. I wasn't ready. But I felt hope. A small, steady pulse that said life could be better, that I could be better. Some nights, I stood in front of the mirror, studying the man who stared back at me. The lines on my face were sharper now, the eyes carrying faint traces of pain, but there was also strength. The man in the mirror looked hurt, yes, but he looked free. I ran my fingers over the scar of sleepless nights, over the memory of betrayal etched into my chest, and for the first time, I didn't wince. "Not broken," I whispered to myself. Lila's laughter floated from the balcony, and Mia's voice called from the kitchen, reminding me that the world kept moving, that I could move with it. I worked out more often now, lifting weights, pushing my body harder. The sweat and exhaustion reminded me that I was alive, that my heart beat on, stronger with each passing day. I began accepting invitations, meeting friends, reconnecting with people who had waited patiently for me to return. And in those quiet, ordinary moments, I realized something important. I had survived the storm. I had faced the worst of human betrayal, and I was still standing. The man in the mirror looked back at me one more time, hurt but free, and I finally believed him. I could live again. I could hope again. And maybe, one day, I could love again. But for now, I would just breathe, just be, and just keep moving forward. I found the envelope sitting on my doorstep that morning. No stamp, no sender, just my name written in familiar handwriting. My chest tightened when I recognized it. Elena. I carried it inside quietly, unsure if I wanted to open it. But curiosity won. I slid my fingers under the flap, unfolded the letter, and began to read. "Elijah," it started, in the trembling, familiar script. "I don't know if you'll ever forgive me. I don't even know if I deserve your attention. I only know that I need to tell you the truth I should have told long ago." Her words poured out, spilling guilt, sorrow, excuses, and regret. I listened to her admissions silently. She wrote about every lie, every stolen moment, every choice that had hurt me. She confessed her loneliness, her selfishness, and the shame she felt every day since. Tears formed in her sentences, and yet, as I read, I felt none of the anger that had consumed me before. I felt nothing but clarity. I read until my eyes blurred, finishing the letter in one quiet sitting. I folded it carefully and set it on the counter. I didn't crumple it. I didn't burn it. I didn't respond. Because I had nothing left to say. The wound she opened had already closed in my chest. What had hurt me, broken me, and changed me, I carried it no longer as pain, but as proof that I had survived. I walked outside, letting the morning air fill my lungs. The sunlight felt gentle on my skin, warm in a way I hadn't noticed in years. I took a deep breath, and the weight I had carried, the betrayal, the sleepless nights, the constant fear of heartbreak, lifted just a little more. From the balcony, I heard a soft voice calling. "Hey, Elijah. Coffee?" Lila stood there, holding 2 mugs, smiling like sunlight in human form. "Sure," I said, and for the first time in months, I said it without hesitation. Without fear. Without past ghosts holding me back. We sat on the balcony together, the quiet clinking of mugs filling the space. She didn't pry, didn't ask for my story, just offered presence. And it was enough. I reflected on everything I had endured, Elena's betrayal, Daniel's lies, the nights of heartbreak and silence, the long climb back toward myself. Every step had been painful, every moment necessary. And now, I felt the first threads of true peace weaving through my chest. I thought about the man I had been, the good husband who trusted blindly, who loved fully and suffered quietly. But that man no longer defined me. I was stronger now. Wiser. Free. I was the good husband, I thought, watching the steam rise from my mug, but now I'm the man who knows his worth. I smiled faintly, a quiet, confident smile. Not bitter, not guarded. Just steady. The world felt soft around the edges, forgiving in its own way. And for the first time, I believed in calm, hope, and healing, not as distant dreams, but as part of my life. The sun warmed my face. I took another deep breath, letting the past settle where it belonged, and I felt the future waiting for me. And this time, I was ready.